Saturday, June 8th, 1991, I had tacos. And on the evening of the 1989 Oscars, Sunday, March 26th, I had chicken. Fried chicken. I was 7. I have superior autobiographical memory. It's a real thing. I remember everything. I'm serious. Literally everything. I remember every birthday, every anniversary, every lyric to every song written by Hootie and the Blowfish, and everywhere they played. I am capable of remembering everything. There is only one thing I am not capable of: forgetting. How hard is it to forgive and forget? In the case of Susan, our main character, she says, "How can I ever forgive if I can't forget?" Follow her struggle when she later in life meets the person who challenges her ability to forgive and forget, by Bridget Grace Sheaf. I hate when people ask me, "Do you remember that one time?" I just want to shake them by the shoulders and say, "Of course I do. Why would you even ask?" But of course, it works the other way around too. I remember what seemed like hugely monumental events, and no one else even knows what I'm talking about. Like with my sister Ella, I will bring up things about her own life that she doesn't even recall. Or if she does recall, she remembers them differently. Don't worry, I straighten her out. I remember everything that happened the day after the Berlin Wall was torn down, November 10th, 1989. I was in 4th grade then. Ella, who would have been in 7th grade, was telling me everything that her classmates had discussed about Germany and the news footage. I learned a lot from Ella. I looked up to her so much. She was so brave and wise, and I was always shy. In fact, I spent most of my elementary school years hiding. Ella would never hide. She would stand face to face with whatever was ahead and stare it down. Ella was never the prettiest girl in her class. I thought that she was beautiful, but she was bullied relentlessly at school. There was this one boy, Max, who was absolutely awful to her. I remember Ella crying in her room after school because of the atrocious things he said to her. Every insult rings in my head. It didn't even happen to me, but I never tried to help. I would see him walking outside to the playground after lunch, and I would hide. He would find Ella, and the taunts would begin. Ella put on a brave face and tried to ignore them. One day, December 2nd, Ella was hiding under the slide when Max, he came outside. He sauntered over to Ella and threw out the always popular, "Hey, loser!" Ella ignored him. Max was relentless though. He grabbed Ella's hair and pulled her towards him. She screamed, more from fright than from pain. Max was muscular and tall, and he couldn't control himself. I put my mittened hands over my eyes and couldn't watch. Thursday, April 13th. Ella walks into the school bathroom with me before the bell rings. She opens the door and shuts it quickly. "Susan, I need you to be a good girl and walk to class by yourself, okay?" I peek out the door and I see a glimpse of Max's face. I can't move. "Susan, listen to me. Go to class, okay?" I walk slowly out of the bathroom. Max is standing directly outside of the door, waiting for Ella. "Is your ugly sister in there?" I couldn't say anything. I ran away as fast as I could. I looked over my shoulder and saw Max walking into the girls' bathroom. After school, Ella picked me up, her head down. We walked the 4 blocks home, and neither of us mentioned her fat lip or her black eye. I cried silently the whole way home. Max was given a 1-week suspension after school. Apparently, the janitor had seen him run into the bathroom and had seen Ella run out, looking like that. Max stayed away from Ella after that. There are so many times I stood by and did nothing. Or worse, ran away. If I were to bring up these events with Ella today, she would just laugh it off. Susan, that was such a long time ago. She remembers, of course, but Max and his bullying don't seem important to her anymore. She moved on. She went on to high school and college. She got married and had a son. She surprises me, and I like surprises. You would too if you were me. These memories don't have to haunt me. But there are times when the ghosts of the past follow me around. During these times, I can't focus on anything else. August 30th, this year. I was supposed to be interviewing applicants for the open accounting position. My boss said the person that I would be interviewing today was the worthiest applicant. I walked out into the receptionist area, and I saw him. Max. I recognized him instantly. Suddenly, every memory I ever had of him came flooding into my head. Every vile thing he said, every cruel act. September 14th. Hey, you're such a freak. No one likes you. December 17th. Ella Smella. Smella Ella. Why don't you go hang out somewhere else where we can't smell you? How about Mars? I stood there, staring at him, as he stood up, smiled, and approached me. During those few seconds, I remembered every day that he tortured my sister. As he shook my hand and said, "Max Cross, it's very nice to meet you," I realized he didn't know who I was. I looked at him and said, "We've met before." His face contorted into confusion until I told him my maiden name. His eyes flickered up and down, and his mouth dropped. "Of course, yes. I wouldn't have recognized you. Wow, it's been a long time. I haven't seen you since you were about this tall." I could almost see the gears in his head turning, trying to tell if I had remembered who he was, hoping that by some chance I had forgotten him. I had not forgotten. It's absurd, really, how much hate I had for this guy. I wasn't even the one he tortured. But for a minute there, I couldn't separate my memories of Ella from my memories of the past. All I wanted to do in that moment was to scream at the top of my lungs. You know, people say forgive and forget. But if you can't forget, can you ever truly forgive? If I can still see his face and hear his exact words, how can I just let it go? People say all sorts of things that apply to those who don't have to remember. Time heals all wounds. Well, it doesn't for me. I can remember the day after my 10th birthday like it was yesterday, and then easily move to the last day of my sophomore year in college. And I can remember this man as easily as I can remember my father or my mother or Ella. In a strange way, Max was important to me and to my story. He's in my brain, and as hard as I try, I can't erase him.